Good evening and welcome to a brand new season of the Taco Tuesday series within the Formula Racing League Assetto Corsa Competizione. Round 1 of the championship takes us to the Hungaroring, just outside the Hungarian capital city of Budapest in Hungary. Tom Cairns is your commentator for the Tier 1 championship as we see the drivers out on the racetrack getting as much mileage as possible before qualifying gets underway in round about a quarter of an hour's time. We expect to see a full grid tonight, 29 drivers, including a few reserves. We'll run through the drivers very, very shortly. But after a Christmas break and a Happy New Year to you all, we cannot wait to get underway with the lineups we've got for this season, as the drivers will go toe-to-toe on circuit and wonder who will be the champion by the end of it all come March, round about mid to late March, which is when the season is expected to finish. It's a 10-round championship all around the world, and we'll get the calendar up very, very shortly as we watch a number of drivers out on the circuit. A lot of these are new to me, of course. I've commentated on some of these before in Tier 3 last season. This is the 8th season of the Taco Tuesday series within the FRL Academy. We've got 2 tiers tonight, Tiers 1 and 2 on a Tuesday and Tier 3 on the Wednesday night. So in regards to the calendar, we've got Hungary tonight, obviously, at the Hungaroring. Next week we go to the Suzuka circuit in Japan before we head to Silverstone, which will play host to the first of 3 special events. That'll be a 90-minute race, including 2 mandatory pit stops. Round 4 takes us to Kyalami on February the 7th, before we return to Europe at Paul Ricard. Barcelona on the 21st of February will play host to the second of these special events. Alton Park is next after that, closing out February. Round 7. Round 8 will take us to the only American event on the calendar at Watkins Glen. Round 9, the penultimate round, will take us to Spa, and the final round will be at Imola on the 21st of March, and that will be a special event as well. In regards to the normal format, it will be 60 minutes, which will include a mandatory pit stop. And now we go on to the drivers, and we'll see who is lining up where. A lot of them are split into 15 teams. There are 29 drivers, so there'll be 1 driver missing from that particular part, but I'm sure it won't be too much of an issue. We'll run through the teams then, beginning with Infinite Racing. Will Freeman, who's one of the admins of the FRL ACC, he will be alongside Esser. And both drivers looking at which seats they'll be in. Will Freeman is in the McLaren, and I would expect Esser to be in a McLaren as well. I could well be wrong, but those are the drivers in the Infinite Racing team. At Sliders Racing team, we've got Ams and P. David. The FRL admin Elite Motorsports have FRL Hutch and Lewis, alongside Lewis, who's the reigning Tier 2 champion, making the leap up to Tier 1. At TK Rex Motorsport, we've got Morex and TKD Drifter. Drifter, who I've commented on before, a very, very quick racing driver. So we could well see him as one of the championship favourites heading into the campaign. At Squeegee Squirrels, Kevin McKenzie, who is the reigning Tier 3 champion. He's alongside Boslad. At Tuga Racing Team, we've got Rui and Rapid Duck. The 7th team on the grid is Winning Doubt, Flat It Out. That's a brilliant, brilliant name, I have to say. We've got Clate and Fighter. Code Brown Racing have got Daru and Palermo, both drivers who competed in Tier 3 last season. Daru, who was absolutely brilliant in terms of his pace. He picked up a couple of victories on his way. I think had he competed throughout the whole campaign, he could have been crowned champion, in all honesty. Promotion Motorsport, we've got Superkart Ray. It's displayed as R. Thomas. Ray Thomas, that is. We'll call him Ray for the time being. He'll be alongside Law for that team. Sector Blitz Racing, they've got Andy Krart and Camababo. The 11th team on the grid is Team Polar Racing. L Prentice and J Prentice are the two drivers in that team. J Prentice, I can see, is in the lobby at the moment. And L Prentice, I can't quite see in the lobby as we speak. It may be under a different gamer tag or something in the game itself. So that's for someone to let me know during the course of tonight. BV Racing Team, I've got Valrun and Busy. Gone to Spygate Racing, 13th team, they've got Moggs and Blue Flag. Terror Monkeys MS, I've got Frank and Connor. Frank, who I've commentated on last season in Tier 3, he was fairly decent. And then finally the last team on the grid, the only team that will be having a sole representative drive for them, that is Canessa. And Canessa, who is racing in the BMW, number 55 BMW, that is. Ignore my gamer tag, that is gamer tag that's highlighted, that's me trying to get into the server at the timer. It allocates me to a race car, but I'm actually commentating and going to be a spectator watching the action. Anyway, so I won't be involved in what's going on the circuit. We do have a few full-time drivers missing, so I will go through the reserves for tonight. It's not displaying who is actually missing, so we'll have to see as the session goes on. So the reserves are called into Tier 1. We've got Verklav Pospisil, or Venoid I think he's known as. I'm just trying to see if he's already in the lobby. He should be. So he's one of the reserves being called in. We've got Ben Gallagher, who's definitely in. I'm sure I've seen his name somewhere. It's down at the bottom there, the number 26 Audi. Dima Juster, who should be in the Audi. Yes, he is. The Audi number 434. It's a nice livery there, actually. It's nice with the shade of green along with the navy blue. MGK is next. MGK, who is racing in the number 23 Ferrari. And finally, Brandon Glover has been called in. And he should be... I'm trying to see whereabouts he is. He may be under the gamer tag of Glover or something like that. But there we go. So we've got 27 drivers in the lobby at the moment, so we are waiting on a couple more drivers to make their way in. We've got just under 6 minutes to go in this practice session, so let's see who is topping the timing pages so far as the rain continues to come down on the circuit. It's not too heavy, so the drivers are just trying to find as much grip as possible. Well, Fighter is fastest at the moment with 1:45.4 ahead of Fuvka in second place in the Porsche, and it's Busy in third place in the McLaren with Rapid Duck in fourth. Frank is fifth, and we've got Ray Thomas in sixth place ahead of Farklov and Pospisil. That's the driver who's one of the reserves, I think, for tonight. Then we've got Robinson in there in the number 336 BMW. So that's Lewis, actually. That answers my question. So Lewis is in the number 336 BMW. In 8th place, 1.5 seconds, just under that, off the pace. Then we've got MGK 9th, Mackenzie in 10th place, albeit 6 seconds off the pace. And aiming to improve on the lap times he's done so beforehand. There's Mackenzie, who I think is the only driver in the Lexus, as far as I know. Then he won the championship last season before Christmas. So he rounds out the top 10 as we speak. So 27 drivers have posted a time so far. Do feel free to get involved in the live chat if you ever so wish to do so. Be keen to hear your predictions as the season is about to get underway. So the calendar of 10 rounds, there'll be no mid-season breaks. It's 10 weeks on the trot. So we will have a champion by the time we get to March the 21st, I think. That's the last round of the season. Great to see so many drivers in the lobby. I mean, it's improved as the attendance or the number of drivers involved in the leagues this season. We just hope to see that every single week, really. We've got a pool of reserves for each tier. So anyone missing, we'll allow those reserves to take their places for the respective rounds. As Rapid Duck, who is 4th quickest at the moment in the BMW, with just over 2 minutes to go. I don't suppose he is going to improve on the lap he's about to set. And he hasn't done so. What I was going to say was, I will not click on the drive icon because it locks me into the onboard on the driver and it does not allow me to switch back to the camera angles of what you are seeing now. So in order for me to change it back, I would need to leave the lobby and go back in. So we are just going to stick to the cameras of which we are seeing here at the Hungaroring, which is not an ideal scenario. We saw it at the back end of last season in some of the rounds, and I had to leave the lobby and come back in to get back onto the appropriate camera angles of which I wanted to see. Hopefully, the game developers of ACC will amend that in the weeks to come. There's MGK, who is a couple of seconds behind Lewis Robinson at the moment, but he's going well in the Ferrari. 9th place. Could he be one of the surprises of the season? Now, some of these drivers have made the leap up from, well, say made the leap up from PlayStation 4. I think they might have combined the PS4 players with the PS5 players, mixing the two servers, hence why I think we're seeing the likes of Lewis Robinson and Ray Thomas's real names being displayed on the screen and not their gamer tags. So that could well explain things. The same with Hutchison as well, Will Freeman. And the number 28 Audi. Just trying to see who that driver, that's Esser. So Esser is C. Jones. And so the practice session has ended, and it's Fighter who tops it with a 1:45.4. I wonder what the conditions are going to be like heading into qualifying. Got the number 22 coming round. That is Hutchinson coming through. So blue flag, he's over 9 seconds off pace. I reckon that some drivers have joined the lobby when the conditions had got worse, to be honest with you. So don't assume that the gaps of what you see is accurate in terms of what we're going to see later on, because the qualifying session is going to be a lot closer as blue flag moves up to 20th place. So he did actually improve on that last time, which is very, very good to see. Got the 3-2-1 who's on circuit. We've just seen Morex come and join the lobby now, which is good to see. So we've got 28 drivers in the lobby at the moment. We may well see the last driver come in during qualifying before the race begins. So MGK is coming through. He has not taken the checker flag yet, but he'll be the last driver to do that. And don't think he improved that time anyway, so qualifying is underway then. 15 minutes. Not a lot of time really for the drivers to get round. It is a 1 minute 45 lap time, so an outlap is expected to be around 2 minutes at least. And it's a very, very busy racetrack now. As you can see, so many drivers coming onto the track at the same time. And considering we've got 28 drivers in the lobby, 29 now because Rui has joined, this is going to make for a very, very intriguing qualifying session here at the Hungaroring. Now, the Hungaroring that first opened in 1986 in time for its first Formula 1 World Championship Grand Prix event. Later that year, that was won by Nelson Piquet in the Williams after he pulled off that brilliant overtake round the outside of the Lotus of Ayrton Senna into turn 1. That was different back then. The circuit has undergone some minor changes to the corners, most particularly for 2003, where turn 1 was made with a longer straight with a sharper right-hander into turn 1. And where turn 12 is and heading into 13, turn 12 was it was made to be a longer back straight with a different turn 12 profile corner, which leads them on to turn 13, and the rest of the lap is pretty much as you expect it. They even had a chicane where turn 3 was for the first 3 years of hosting the Hungarian Grand Prix, but it wasn't a very popular complex for the drivers to navigate through, hence why the Hungaroring has become a downforce type circuit for Formula 1 cars, particularly for the normally aspirated cars that were very much inferior to those that were running turbos. So here's Rapid Duck, who ran wide at turn 3, so I don't know if his lap time is going to stand by the time it's done, but with the rain coming down and with the rain expected to ease before the session is over, that's going to make the last few minutes of this qualifying session very enjoyable to watch. For a driver, well, you'll be feeling more nervous as the lap times continue to tumble down. P. David seems to have a fan that's joining us. Thank you very much for joining. And hello to you as well. Also, if you are watching, do let us know who you are rooting for. We're very interested to hear your thoughts on the season ahead, who you are tipping for victory. If you've also been to the Autosport International event like I have done at the weekend, it was absolutely fantastic from my point of view. I'm keen to hear if you've gone as well and what you thought about it. Do let us know in the live chat. And Rapid Duck has gone over the line with 151.6. We expect that time to come down. He stops on circuit to make his way back into the pit lane, saves him having to go round. Vuvka goes second. 600ths off the pace. Got the 702 coming over the line next. That's Fighter, who ended practice fastest in the Ferrari. He should go to the top by quite some margin here. He doesn't actually, 9/10 down, so Fighter with a lot of work to do so far. Lewis goes fourth with 153.3. And he's been displaced by Prentice and Ams. And now Law goes up to fourth place for a second before MG Key has managed to displace him. Hutchinson up to third place in the BMW, so he's putting out all the stops. Esser is his gamer tag. He's one of those that's combined from the PS4 to the PS5 servers. They've managed to mix together now, in case you're watching. So sometimes you may see the driver's real names on there rather than their gamer tags. And David is in fifth place in the McLaren 303. And Clay is in sixth position in the Ferrari. So far, less than a second separating the top 8. Will Freeman, who came second in last season's PS4 category in Taco Tuesday, behind Esser, who is now his teammate, I believe. I'm just running through the teams at the moment. They are teammates at Infinite Racing, so they could be one of the teams to look out for this season in the Teams Championship. We've got a number of drivers yet to post at that time. Ben Geller's gone to 11th. L. Prentice is down to 12th place now, with Ams 13th. Got the 702 of Fighter coming through. Fuka has improved his time to go to the top still, ahead of Rapid Duck. Fighter is coming through next in the Ferrari. This should be an improvement, and it does go second. 800ths off the pace. We've got a heap of drivers crossing over the line now, so it's going to be quite difficult to keep up with everything that's happened on circuit. We've got Prentice go up to 9th place, Mackenzie up to 8th in the Lexus. And we've got the 555 coming through next. That's Blue Flag, who's gone up to 15th place. We've got Will Freeman in the number 8 Audi, who's just gone down to 14th place, but he's coming through to complete this lap. He's about to hope that he's going up the order. In fact, he's gone up to the top. 151.3, just 100 ahead of Fuka in the Porsche, the number 212 Porsche. So Freeman is the man to beat. He's the man on provisional pole at the moment. You do get a championship point for qualifying on pole position in the Taco Tuesday series. P. David. So there are two Davids on the grid, but this is P. David in the Honda 925. He's gone up to 8th place, half a second off the pace in comparison to what Freeman has posted. We've got the 226 coming through. That's Law, who I don't think actually improved the time. He might have done. He's ahead of Prentice. He's up there in 14th place, but at least he's in the top half of the field. Ray Thomas, who's currently in P17 in the number 58 Mercedes AMG. And we've got Barclaw Pospisil in the number 25 Audi in 18th. Gallagher down to 19th place now, with Lewis, last season's Tier 2 champion, in 20th position. And we've got Blue Flag Jay Prentice. We've got two Prentices in the lobby. One that's driving the Ferrari and the other that's driving in a Bentley. Both of them are teammates, for your information. That'll make it easier for me to decide who is actually teammates within the teams concerned. Mackenzie's gone up to 2nd place now then in the Lexus 777. So Fuvka has gone to the top as well. Rapid Duck has taken that position away from the Porsche driver, 150.7. The rain is easing off more and more. We've got over 6 minutes remaining, so it could well come down to last man over the line. There's Fighter, who's in 5th place, 7/10 off the pace now. Ray has gone 3rd fastest now in the Mercedes AMG, so he's definitely finding some time. Fighter goes over the line. Does he improve his lap time? I don't think he did, so he stays in P6. So he could well tumble down by the time he completes his next lap. There's Jones in P8 in the Audi, with P. David 9th, Busy 10th, Moggs 11th. We've got the number 15, I believe, crossing over the line. Not at the moment as we speak. We've got the 336 of Lewis heading over the line next. And it didn't look like he improved that time either, so he stays in 22nd position. We've got the number 26 coming through. That is Gallagher in the Audi. He's in P21. So we're looking to move up the order here. He doesn't so this time around. And Clayt stays in 16th. Got the 303 of David S. Jr. in the McLaren, stays in P15. The number 16 of Andy in the BMW in 19th place right now. And we've got the number 28 of Esser in the Audi coming through. 4.5 minutes remaining. The drivers will be thinking about getting another set of tyres on for their last runs. Jones goes up to 8th place. How are the others getting on? I don't see too many improvements, if I'm honest with you. We've got a heap of drivers going over the line now. Fighter goes over the line, does not improve, stays where he is in P6. Hutchison, does he improve his lap time? No, he doesn't. He stays in P7. And we're just looking to see who else is crossing over the line. There's so many drivers. It's unbelievable to watch. And Law in the yellow and green Mercedes AMG. He does not move up the order from where he is. Number 58 of Ray Thomas is coming round the last turn now. Less than half a second away from pole. We're just seeing Clay go onto the front row. So Clay came from so far back. I'm just looking to see where he was before he had set that lap time, because he was quite a way down before he moved up the order. I think he may have been outside the top 15 or something like that. But either way, he's moved up and onto the front row of the grid. That is absolutely brilliant to see. Got the number 678. Round in the last turn. That is Jay Prentice in the Bentley. Over 2 seconds off the pace, but he's looking to improve this one. And it's no improving that time around, so he stays in P28. This is Rui, who we haven't seen in this session yet. As the rain continues to lighten, you can see the track is saying that it's greasy now, so the track is becoming more and more grippy. I just wonder who's going to be brave enough to go for the slicks. Of course, if they're going to do that, they need to exit the pits with over 2 minutes to go before the checker flag comes out. Here's Rui coming round, and is this going to be an improvement to his time? The answer is no. So he stays where he is, but I would expect the lap times to continue to tumble down. And just see a change of order. I think Jones has got to 4th place then, and MGK has gone to 8th with a 1 minute 51.4. Got the 925 coming through. That is P. David. He does not improve his lap time. I think that's Law who is coming through. Is that Ray who's gone over the line? That's Ray who's gone up. He's still in 5th place. Got the 303 of Davis Jr. He's in 21st at the moment. 2 Prentices of L Prentice and J Prentice are 22nd and 28th. So they've got some work to do. But the whole field is separated by 2.6 seconds. So there's 1 minute to go. The rain is coming down, so it should stay for the rest of the session. As we watch number 8 of Freeman go over the line. No improvement from him. So he stays in P7. So the man still to beat is Rapiduck in the BMW. Got the 555 over the line. I don't think he improved either. So he's still outside the top 20, I believe. The 702 of Fighter, who goes to pole position at the moment. So he just took it by 15 thousandths of a second. Fighter on provisional pole here at the Hungaroring in Tier 1. Moggs has got to 8th place in the Ferrari. Nice job from him. He's got another shot at it. We've got the 212 heading over the line now. Well, this is Ams in the number 15. He didn't improve that time. Law goes up to 4th place. That's an excellent effort. But Lewis takes pole position away from Fighter. So Lewis is on provisional pole, but not for long because MGK has just stolen it. MGK has taken pole position away from Lewis, but they just got over the line before the checker flag had fallen. So these are the last lap times that the drivers are going to set. El Princess goes up to 14th place, so that's an improvement from him. P. David goes 15th with the time he has just posted. Got the 321 over the line. Frank, who's only 20th. Got the 303 of Davis, who goes up to pole. 3/10 faster than anyone else. So, just as I said earlier, this is going to be last man over the line as the conditions are improving. So this is not over yet by any means. We've got the 678 round in the last turn. That is Rui. No, sorry, that's Jay Prentice in the Bentley who's coming through. Can he do better than his sibling by the looks of it? Correct me if I'm wrong. He stays 25th. That's a shame. That was a golden opportunity for him to move up the order. He's Moritz. We've just seen the 555 come around the last turn now. That's Blue Flag, who is slowest at the moment, but not anymore because he's gone up a long way up the order. He's up to 19. Moritz goes 21st. We've got the 702 crossing over the line. We'll look to see where he ends up. Fighter goes P2. So P2 is where Fighter will end up. So he won't get pole position. But Moggs takes it. He snatches pole from Davis Jr. Hutchison goes 3rd in the BMW with a 150.4. Now then, this is Lewis as Ams goes to the front row now. So, but Law takes it. The times keep on changing, but Lewis has snatched pole position right to the death. What about MGK? Can he take it away from him? He can't, but he goes on to the front row. So after all of that, it is Lewis who ends the first qualifying session of the season in Tier 1 in Taco Tuesday on pole position. He collects the first championship point. MGK will join him on the front row. Then we've got Law and Moggs 3rd and 4th. Who would have thought of that? Ams ahead of Davis Jr. in 5th and 6th, followed by Vodka and Hutchison on the 4th row. Fighter, who ended practice fastest, will line up 9th on the grid, and Rapid Duck, who topped qualifying throughout a lot of that, is in 10th place. That's your top 10 so far. We've got Ray in 11th place, ahead of Clay. Then it's Ben Gallagher, who ended that session in a fine 13th place. That's a great effort from him, with Will Freeman in 14th alongside him. We've got Jones, otherwise known as Esther, I believe, in 15th place. We've got Rui, who, despite not doing any laps in practice, ended that session in 16th place. So he's done very well to get himself up there, if I'm honest with you. We've got Busy and McKenzie in 17th and 18th places. El Princess and David, P. David that is, in 19th and 20th. We've got Blue Flag and Pospisil in 21st and 22nd on the 11th row. Morris and Camabarbo on row 12, with Frank only 25th. Not sure how he'll fell after that. Canessa alongside him on row 13. We've got Andy and Jay Prentice on row 14. And at the back is Dim Adjuster. And that is your grid. 2.6 seconds covering all 29 drivers. Fabulous qualifying session. And that's not going to be the last time we're going to see a qualifying session like that during the course of the season. There's going to be plenty more of that, I'm sure. Now then, the main thing, the race. Who's going to come out on top in this one? Well, I was just going to say, less than a second separated the top 12 drivers throughout all of that. So it's pretty much anyone's game, really. So the first lap isn't where it's going to be won, but it could be where the drivers could lose the race, really. So there's going to be a lot of elbows getting out there by the drivers, I would imagine. Lewis, who's done terrific to get his car onto pole position right at the end there. He was one of the last couple of drivers after the just before the checker flag had been waved to get his fastest time in. So the fact he timed that perfectly with the conditions improving, was absolutely fabulous from him. So MGK just missing out there, but he won't be too despondent with second. He'll pretty much get a clear run into turn 1, really, because the drivers will be going into rows of 2, heading to turn 1 before they start fighting for position. I don't even know what the weather forecast is going to be. So if anyone can inform me on that, that would be fantastic. So we've got just under 3 minutes to go before the formation lap gets underway. So technically we'll be around about 6 minutes away from race start, maybe 7. So last season, Assetto was the PS4 champion, with Freeman coming out, ending the season in second. Having said that, Freeman did miss a round. It was the opening rounds of the season at Imola that he missed. I'm sure he'll be looking to put that anomaly right this season, though, with it being such a competitive grid. And well done to the FRL staff for getting the PS4 and PS5 drivers put together for this, because we are going to be in for such a cracking first race of the season. And to remind you of how the race will work, it's a 1-hour race, and given the lap times we have seen so far and the fact that it's dry now, I would say we're looking at around lap times of 1:40s or something like that. So it could well be something like a 36-lap race here at the Hungaroring. But the drivers do have to make a mandatory pit stop. They do not have to refuel, but they do have to change tyres. So some may be starting on a lighter fuel load. Others may decide to not refuel at all and not having to take more time at the pit stops. Well, they're just doing their last minute, their last minute setups, if you want to put it in those words, before qualifying gets on the way. That's why you can see the cars jumping around on the grid like that. It's just to show that the drivers are in position. There are 29 drivers on the grid, so exclude the 30th driver on the caption there. That's me. That's me as a spectator. That should say spectator on that, but for this occasion, it's not. So just pretend that it's just, you know, with 29 drivers out there on the grid. And Ash Wilson has just come in saying, watch Ams go, top driver. And do you know what? I couldn't agree more, because Ams was absolutely blisteringly quick in qualifying. He did better than I thought he was going to do. And for your information about where Ams ended up last season in Tier 1, he ended up 3rd overall. He won a race at Imola, and he finished on the podium on another 3 occasions. Second place finish in round 6 of the championship at Monza, and the third place finishes at what looks like Donington and Kyalami. So the formation up is underway, and it's Lewis Robinson who leads the field round on the formation lap. If you have just joined us, we'll run down the grid for you with Lewis Robinson on pole, MGK alongside him in the Ferrari. Then we've got Law and Moggs in 3rd and 4th. Ams and Davis Jr. on the 3rd row ahead of Vodka and Hutchinson. Watch out for Vodka, because he was very quick in qualifying. I think what lost him positions was not being able to improve as much as others in the final moments of qualifying when the track improved. So keep an eye out on him. Fighter is another one to look out for, as is Rapid Dog. I would expect those two to fight their way through the field at the start. We've got Ray Thomas and Clay on row 6, followed by Ben Gallagher and Will Freeman on the 7th row. Then we've got Essa and Rui on row 8. Busy and McKenzie on the 9th row of L. Prentice and P. David in 19th and 20th. Blue Flag and Farclub Pospisil in 21st and 22nd. We've got Morex and Camabarbo in 23rd and 24th, with Frank and Canessa in 25th and 26th places respectively. Andy and Jay Prentice are on the 14th row of the grid, with dim adjuster right at the back, as you can see, in the green and navy blue Audi 434. So much action. And I can imagine, with there being so much action throughout this race, this is going to go very, very quickly, which is good news for me, and it's good news for the drivers, and it's good news for those who are tuning in. Do not go anywhere, folks, because you are about to see a thrilling race here at the Hungaroring. So the Hungaroring is one of the longest serving races on the F1 calendar, actually. It has hosted a Grand Prix every year since its debut in 1986. As I've already mentioned, it has undergone some minor changes to the circuit's configuration, but the vast majority of it has stayed. And I would say it's one of the most underrated circuits on the calendar because it has produced some brilliant races in the past. It's also been a location where we've seen drivers take their first ever Grand Prix wins at this racetrack, including Damon Hill, Fernando Alonso, Jenson Button, Heikki Kovalainen, and Esteban Ocon. Here we go then for the start of the first race of the season. Lewis Robinson, can he get away well when the green flag is shown? It's a rolling start, so the drivers won't take their places on the grid. They will just pull away when the green flag is shown. So any moment now. And the drivers are off. Lewis gets away well, but he needs to watch for MGK on his left-hand side as he looks to make a move. Watch out for Law as well in the Mercedes. He's having a look into turn 1 in the Mercedes AMG, but it's Lewis who goes into turn 1 on the inside, and he leads coming out of the first turn ahead of MGK in P2. And we've got Law, who's kept hold at 3rd place at the moment, but we've got Moggs in 4th place, being overtaken by Ams. So Ams beginning to make a move as he makes a overtake around the outside. It seems to have got through, but look at the front. Lewis ran wide at turn 2. He's lost the lead to MGK, so MGK takes the lead here at the Hungaroring in Tier 1 in the FRL. And we got a collision about massive crash involving multiple drivers. We've got Vodka in the walls. I can't see who else is involved in there. It looks like Freeman's dropped back. So Freeman and Vodka are in the walls in there. And looks like Jay Prentice had a spin at the start. I think Rapid Duck is in there as well. So Rapid Duck and Fighter, two drivers of which we expected to make their way through the field, have had a coming together at turn number 3. So with there being so many drivers on the grid, we kind of expected there would be a bit of contact into turn 3, but not as much as what we saw there. So we're going to see a number of drivers ducking into the pits at the end of lap 1. So this is your order at the moment. MGK leads ahead of Robinson, Law in 3rd place. We've got Moggs, Ams, Davis Jr. and Hutchison in 7th place. We've got Ray in 8th, Ben Gallagher in 9th with L. Prentice and Clates next behind. Rui's up to 12th from 16th. That's a great start from him. He avoided that first lap mayhem, and he's done very well to get himself up into the position where he is now. And so MGK will end the lap in P1. The race is not over yet. I did say it's not won on the first lap, but I did say it's where you could lose it. We've got a number of drivers I can imagine that are going to be ducking into the pits at the end of the lap. We'll come to those very shortly. We just want to see if there's any action on circuit. The drivers are settling into the race at the moment. There is a look at the back though, as we watch the pink car make a move. We also got the 3-2-1 also trying to make a move. That is Frank. He's come up brilliantly through the field, I have to say. I think it was around about 25th place on the grid at the start. He's made his way up to 15th place, 10 places gained from his starting position. So very well done to Frank at the moment. He's up there in 15th place. We've got Moritz in the pink and blue Mercedes AMG in 16th place. We've got Kamabarbo, who's another one of those who's made up a ton of places at the start. We've got Dim Adjuster, who has come up from 29th to 18th. That's a brilliant getaway. Andy Craig up to 19th. We've got Knessa and P. David. McKenzie's made a poor start though. He's down to 22nd. He was, I think it was like 15th or 16th on the grid at the start. He's down to 22nd, so not a good start from him. Will Freeman's trying to make his way back through the field at the moment though in the Audi. He's got damage on the bonnet of that Audi at the moment, so he's got some work to do. Jones is in 15th place, otherwise known as Essa, that's his teammate, of course. Fighter in 26th, we've got Rapid Duck and Jay Prentice, who is down at the back. And Vodka is the only driver to have ducked into the pits at the end of the first lap. Now, the pit window did open before he came in. The pit window opens a minute after the race begins. So, essentially, before the first lap was completed. So, Vodka in the pits to get his pit stop done and out of the way. That's going to leave him with a lot of work to do. And not only that, the field is coming round to lap him. So, you may want to wait a little bit in the pits before the crew decide to release him. I just hope Vodka does continue, because there is a long way to go yet in this race. And he's one of the quickest drivers in the field, given the times he had posted in practice and in qualifying. So Moggs with the fastest lap of the race at the moment, with Ams in 5th place, Davis Jr. ahead of Ray Thomas in 7th place. We've got Ben Gallagher 8th, El Princess in 9th, doing very well at the moment. Then it's Clayt in 10th position, so 2 Ferraris in 9th and 10th. Rui is up to 11th now, past Blue Flag. Frank is up to 13th place in the McLaren, continuing a fine start to the race. It could even be 12th, because Blue Flag has made a mistake on the exit of turn 2, and Frank is looking to take advantage, but Frank makes contact with the McLaren. He's got to be careful to keep it clean as they go into turn 4. So Frank looking to make his way through the field. I think we've just seen a change in position at the moment, or it could just well be the gaps shown between each driver as they go through the sectors. The positions do update every time the drivers do go through the sectors, so sometimes what you see in picture may not be the exact reality. So Frank staying in 13th place. He won't want to make too many mistakes. We saw that last season in Tier 3 where Frank made mistakes. There was one race in particular where he actually rage quit and got into trouble with the stewards afterwards, because there are rules when it comes to rage quitting in the FRL, as that can upset the performance of the server, really. So Frank will have learned from that. But having said that, he did win a race in Mount Panorama when he was battling with Darstall, who is no longer competing in PlayStation categories anymore, as he switched over to PC. MGK ends the 3rd lap, still in the lead, but Lewis continuing to give chase to him. So into turn 1, MGK still in front. The top 4 separated by 1.3 seconds at the end of the last lap. Ams is in 5th place still, Davis Jr., who's posted the fastest lap of the race now in the McLaren. Ray is 7th, Gallagher 8th. The top 10 has hardly changed at the moment on the last lap. And Frank has dropped back a little bit now from Blue Flag. He's got the other McLaren of Busy right behind. In 14th, we've got Morix ahead of Camabarbo. Mackenzie's back up to 21st place now. Freeman 24th. And looks as though that Jones has done his mandatory pit stop already, but the problem is he's about to be lapped by the whole field, so he's going to lose a bundle of time. This is the disadvantage of pitting so early in these races because of the size of the field. So I think that one of the rules is if a driver's within 0.8 of a second, the back marker ahead of him is obliged to move out of the way. But to be honest, using their own common sense, if the blue flag is shown to you, you should let them through. In fact, Jones lets them through now. He knows that he's not fighting with him, but needs to try and lose as minimal amount of time as possible. So MGK ahead of Robinson with Law, ahead of Moggs. So it's Ams and Davids in 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. Just looking to see if there's any drivers making their way through the field at the moment. The field is definitely second there. Moritz has moved in front of Busy now into 14th place. Camabarbo 16th, but it's Hudson and it's Andy Canessa. And Mackenzie's moved up to 20th, is ahead of Papisil. Dim Justice dropping back now. He was running higher up earlier, but he's dropped a number of positions as we speak. That is Rapid Duck, who's got in front of Will Freeman now, up to 23rd place. And could well become 22nd in the moment, but backs out of the move on Dim Adjuster. There's Will Freeman had a P. David, Fighter in 26th. Long way to go yet in this race. Now if you're at the front, you've got quite an advantage because you should rejoin in clear air, whereas if you're in the midfield, you're more likely to get caught up by the leaders as they come up to lap you, which will cost you even more time. So the top four stuck together like glue. Fantastic to see. Multiple battles going on the circuit. Frank is in front of blue flag now, into 12th place. So Frank has made up another position. The next one ahead of him is Rui in the Mercedes AMG. Moritz still in 14th place. There is Busy, who's trying to fend off the BMW of Hutchinson, who's behind. We've got Andy in 17th, and it's Kamababa who's dropped to 18th place now. There's Mackenzie on the inside of Popizil, who's trying to get back ahead of him, actually. There's Dim Adjuster, who's trying to move in front, but they make contact, and a spin for the pair of them at turn 13. Now, that was a bit clumsy, that, really, from Dim Adjuster, because he was on the inside. He was never ahead into the corner. He may feel that Popizil left him enough space. He's got going again now, but that will cost Popizil a lot of time, and he's fallen down a long way down now. He's behind Jay Prentice in 27th. I wonder if he may duck into the pits at the end of the start to just get his mandatory pit stop out of the way. The problem with that is that he's likely to get caught up by the leaders by the time his pit stop is completed. So we're nearly 10 minutes into the race now. This is lap 6. We expect it to be around about a 36 lap race. Could be less than that, but that's my estimate. We've just seen Robinson lose a place now. He's lost the position to Law, and he's lost the position to Moggs. So Lewis has made a mistake somewhere, and he's down to 4th place now, behind the Mercedes AMG of Law and the BMW of Lewis. Of Moggs, sorry. Oh, it's the Ferrari of Moggs, I should say. Just looking at the leaderboard at the moment. That will update by the time they go through set 2 right now. But Lewis is down to 4th position now in the BMW. Not sure where exactly he made a mistake. He might have done it into turn 3 for a moment, at some point, because once you lose the rhythm, it's very difficult to get it back, and you lose a lot of momentum, and it takes until the next slow corner of the circuit, which is the chicane. We see an off at turn number 11. That's Mackenzie, who's gone for a spin. Has rejoined. He's behind Fufka, who's a lap behind him, so he should move out of the way, Fufka, but Mackenzie down to 25th now after that spin. I don't know if he's had a coming together with someone. He might well have done. But this is the battle for the lead as Law looks to the outside of MGK into turn 1. Can't quite do it. Law just posted the fastest up of the race as well last time around, so he's definitely on a charge. Has a look into turn 2, but can't quite make the move stick. He'll be back for more, though. He'll be pushing MGK into a mistake. He probably won't do it into here. He'll probably do it into turn 1 next time around. The thing is, once you get stuck behind that turbulent car, or the turbulent air of the car ahead, it really can knock the downforce off you, and downforce is a very important asset to the Hungaroring. And one thing I haven't mentioned during the course of tonight's broadcast is the point system. Now, you get 40 points for a win. Every finisher gets points. So the top 11 is 2 points difference between every position. So 40 points for a win, 38 for second, 36, 34, 32, up to 11th place, so we get 20. And then from then on, it's a 1 point difference between finishing 11th right all the way to wherever you finish. So with there being 29 drivers, if we get 29 finishes, the driver that finishes 29th will get 2 championship points, which is better than nothing. And given the size of the field, consistency is going to be absolutely vital. There's Law in P2, there's Mods in P3, and Lewis is dropping back all the time now, so he lost a lot of time on that last lap. I don't know whether Lewis may be on a heavier fuel load in comparison to the others. I've just seen Andy come into the pits as Rapiduck has posted the fastest lap of the race. He's just used the clear track he's used on that last lap to start putting in some laps, I wonder if he may be on a lighter fuel load as well. The problem with being on a lighter fuel load is when you come into the pits, you lose more time in the pits having to put more fuel in than you are without needing to put fuel in. Because all you're doing is just changing the tyres and that's it. So there's your top three in your picture. MGK still in front, as he has been at the start, but it could well be not for long, because Law has been hounding him. He's trying to get my words out at the moment. We're nearly a quarter of the way through so far, and we've seen so much action, and there's still a long way to go. So Andy, who's in the pits at the moment, he should come out in some clear air, but needs to hurry up actually, because the leaders are coming around the penultimate turn. I think Andy will be fine now actually, so he will use that clear track to put in some fast laps and complete an undercut on a lot of the other drivers. So there's Davis Jr. in 6th place, Ray in 7th. He's just lost the position to Gallagher actually, so Gallagher has made a move in the last sector. He's moved up into 7th place now. There's El Prentice ahead of Clay with Rui and Frank, who's made up the ground on them. So Frank having a fantastic race so far. Blue flag 30. Moritz ahead of Busy. Hutchison ahead of Camabarbo. Canessa is in 18th place as Rapiduck pits in from 19th position. So he's going for the pits, as is Will Freeman. Will Freeman's needing to get that damage sorted as well after that first lap contact. And we've just seen a change for the lead now, because Moggs has gone into the lead. We just missed the overstay. I'm not sure exactly what's happened, but Moggs is in the lead now with Law in 2nd place. Ams is up to 3rd for a moment because Lewis has just got back in front. I wonder what's happened to MGK. Has he had contact with Law on that lap? He might well have done, but he's gone down from 1st to 6th place on this lap. So I apologise for missing the action on that part. But Moggs is into the lead now. Law is in 2nd place. Ams is 3rd. Lewis is in 4th, with Davis Jr. ahead of MGK. Now, with the field so close together as we speak, it could well come down to the pit stops. Moggs' gap to Law in second is now 2.4 seconds. I wonder if MGK might have picked up some damage, or did he just simply run wide into perhaps turn 2 or turn 3, perhaps? Maybe turn 4 even. I think it might have been turn 2 or 3, because that's before the first sector ends. Robinson up into 3rd place now, ahead of Ams. So Lewis beginning a bit of a recovery at the moment. As we see Mackenzie come out of the pits at the most inconvenient time, really, because... Oh no, that's not Mackenzie who's just come out of the pits. I think that's someone else who's just come out of the pits. I might be wrong, actually. I'm just looking at the cars on circuit. There is a car in between. It's Will Freeman, in fact. So Will Freeman's come out between the 1st and 2nd place drivers. And he has to get a move on now, because otherwise, if he gets blue flags, he'll have to let the whole field through. And there's a lot of drivers who are needing to get past. So Will Freeman needs to use his new set of tyres to start pulling away. Now, I'm not saying he's holding up the drivers, because even though the blue flags are being shown to him, he is still obliged to pull out of the way as of when he needs to. But Law will know that he's just coming for a pit stop, and he should pull away. I suppose what he will want is some of these drivers pitting in, and that should minimise the damage. We've got the number 22 in the pit lane now. I think that might have been Hutchinson, who has just exited the pits now, with Rapiduck just behind him, but Rapiduck will be on warmer tyres than Hutchinson, so Hutchinson will need a lap or so to get his tyres into the optimum window before he can start pushing. And Frank has moved in front. He's up to 10th place now. Some of the drivers have been pitting in. In fact, Clate's down to 16th place. I think Clate's made a mistake somewhere because he was up there in the top 10 behind El Prentice. But now he's down to 16th place. I think he's made a mistake somewhere. Either way, Frank is in 10th place now and on a charge. He's got Prentice ahead of him, who of course he raced with in Tier 3 last season. And it looks as though he could well be getting a move done here if he's close enough. And Dim Adjuster is the next driver to dock into the pits. The pit lane is going to become very, very busy once the drivers start to come in. And Will Freeman's allowed Law to go through now. And he's got 3, 4, 5, 6 more drivers right behind him at the moment. Could even be more than that. So Will Freeman needs to get a move on here if he's to salvage a good haul of points from today's action. He cannot afford to lose too much time having to let drivers through because he's a lap down. And now Ams is in 4th place. And we had someone in the live chat saying without mistakes he'll become a championship contender, no question. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if he was. And Davis Jr. in the McLaren looking to make a move on the Audi ahead. Doesn't go through. And we just see a bit of a move there from Ams, who went for it there on Lewis but couldn't quite make the move stick. MGK in 6th at the moment still. There's a battle for 9th place going on between El Prentice and Frank. The driver with the fastest up of the race so far is Rapid Duck. There's no championship point, I should say, for the driver who sets the fastest lap, but I'm sure even if that's the case, then Rapid Duck will want to try and get some fast laps in now that he's done his pit stop. With luck on his side, he could well find himself in the top 10 by the end of this race, because the field are going to be battling amongst themselves, and the more they battle, the more time they will lose. So that's why I think we're not seeing too many battles going on at the moment, because the drivers will feel that if they start battling too much, they'll start losing time and being undercut by other drivers behind that pit in beforehand. So the top 20 have yet to pit in so far. And Moggs is coming around to complete his 12th lap. And his gap over Law is just under 3 seconds now. It's a good gap. Robinson in 3rd place. I wonder how he'll be feeling with Freeman up ahead of him at the moment. He probably is not too fussed about it. His focus is more on Ams behind, which is good news for Freeman actually, because if they start battling, then he can start pulling away from them and not have to worry about blue flags. So Ams looking for a move. Robinson fending off ahead. And this is a fight that's going to go on until the pit stops, no question. As we watch Ams make a move on Robinson, he's up the inside. Is he going to make the move? No, he doesn't. He wisely backs out of it. He needs to watch Davis behind. MGK's old Ben Gallic is closing as is Ray. And Frank is now ahead of El Prentice. So Frank is up to 9th place after starting 25th on the grid. And Prentice beginning to struggle at the moment. His teammate Jay Prentice has just come in for his mandatory pit stop, so he's not coming to retire. Even though he is at the back, it is his mandatory pit stop. And I believe we've lost a driver in the race. I don't know who that was. We've seen I don't know whether he's lost connection or something. If someone can get back to me on what's happened on that, then that would be fun. Then that would be good. Those who know me in the Discord, feel free to DM me, to message me if you want, so that I actually know, so I can fill in viewers on what's going on. It'll probably tell me at the end of the race anyway, because obviously they've done a number of laps. So Lewis in third place still at Heather Adams, and it's David, and it's MGK, and it's Gallagher, with Ray Thomas further back in 8th position, with Frank in 9th, El Prentice in 11th place now, because Moritz has got in front of him. So Moritz in the pink and blue Mercedes AMG gets in front just. He ran wide on the exit of turn 2, but had the line into turn 3 and keeps hold of the place. He's up to 10th position now. Blue flag is in 12th position, had a Busy and Canessa. Now, a lot of these drivers have still yet to pit. The highest driver in the field who has pitted, as we watch Blue flag go wide there, he had a very tight line into turn number 5, but he keeps hold of that place. What I was going to say is that Hutchison in the number 22 BMW, he has already made his mandatory stop. So with the lap times that he's producing, as well as Rapid Duck, they could have a say on how this race gets decided. As we watch a spin from the 925, that's P. David, who's running in 17th place, goes for a spin at turn 5, but he's able to continue. So Moggs in the lead. And in case you're wondering who's that car behind him, that is not a driver that's back within 4 position. That's the number 434 of Dim Adjuster. And as a result of that spin, P. David is down to 20th place. Frank has now posted the fastest lap of the race so far. Look to see what the time is, because that is... because obviously it's dry conditions now. That lap time he posted was a 1:45.1, which is the fastest up of the race so far. Now the lap times actually is not too different to what we saw in qualifying. Could well be because they're all running all-weather tyres. I doubt that's the case, because the drivers were running on fuel loads that were a lot lighter than what they're racing on now. So we should expect the fast lap times to come down in the dying embers of this race. And Clayt and P. David have both come in for their mandatory stops now, so they'll be getting those done and out of the way. They'll be hoping to get out before the leaders catch up to them. So I wonder when Moggs will actually come in. He's got a gap of 3.3 seconds. If he was to come in now, he should get out in clean air. And that's what he needs to think about. But he has got clean air in front of him anyway. So Clay has done his stop now. And P. David has done so as well. But they're going to be losing time, having to let the leaders through. There's Clay exiting the pits now, as is David. David's just letting the leader go through there. I'd have got on with it there, to be honest with you there, David. He's going to lose an awful amount of time now. He should have just got going, to be honest with you, because he could have just let the leaders through further on the lap. And he's Kama Barbo in 15th place into his mandatory stop. Gallagher is in front of MGK into 6th place. So that's another position lost there for MGK, the man who was leading for a lot of this race. So we watch Moggs go back through on Dim Adjuster by the looks of it. I think Moggs has lost time during the course of this lap. It was over 3 seconds to get, now it's 1.7. I think Dim Adjuster is actually going faster than Moggs at the moment. So the gap has come down to 1.7 seconds between the top two. More drivers have been pitting in. Only 17 drivers have yet to make a pit stop in this one. So looking at who's left in the lobby, there's 28 left in the lobby. So we've had one driver pulling out of this one. I'm trying to work out who it was, but we'll know at the end of the race anyway. It's not important right now. Ams and Davies are in the pits then. They were running at the high end. I think they were both in the top 5 before they pitted in, so they're getting their stops done now. Here's round about the halfway points. This is probably the perfect time really to do your stops if you're the leaders. Now the drivers they need to look out for are Hutchison and Rapidoc, who are going at some good pace at the moment. Very solid pace. If they get in front of them, they could well be challenging for the victory later on. Ams and Davies Jr. have just done their stops now, so they should get out in front of Hutchison and Rapidoc. But they're going to need some time. I think Davies just got in front of Ams, so Davies has just leapfrogged him in the pit stops. Yeah, they're both out in front of Hutchison and Rapidoc, so they stay in front of them, but at least Hutchison and Rapidoc are in the chase for at least a top 10 result here today. Maybe even top 5, who knows? And Gallagher's up to 4th place then because of the pit stops. MGK 5th with Ray in 6th. Frank is now P7 and continuing to set some good laps. Moggs has got the far stop of the race now as Frank comes in to make his pit stop into the second half of the race now. And the pit lane is getting more and more busy. So Frank goes in as Gallagher and MGK go into battle a little bit. MGK holding back. And I always advise a driver, if you know that you're probably not going to get past the driver, don't throw away what you've got. It's the championship you've got to think about at the end of the day if you're going to be challenging for it. Canessa is also in, as is Rui, so they're making pit stops. They're hoping to get out before the leaders get round to them. My guess is that they will do, so... There's Moggs continuing to the right, and Dim Adjuster's holding up. Is he holding up a driver there, Dim Adjuster? Is that a battle for... I think that's a battle for position, actually, between Dim Adjuster and Will Freeman in the battle for 22nd place. So that's actually a genuine battle between those two. Now, Frank has done his stop now, so he won't go down a lap. Canessa's done his stop also. That was a very quick stop, actually, from Canessa, so he's done very well to get out there. Rui's still in his box, and I think he's going to end up going down a lap on the leaders. But I think, given that a lot of the drivers already pitted anyway, he shouldn't lose as much time. And Rui has rejoined the race in 19th place. He's not actually needing to get out of the way of other drivers, but he has just lost positions to Will Freeman and Dim Adjuster, so he's lost out horribly there, as Rui. Will Freeman will just be looking for damage limitation at the moment, given his first lap maladies. As Busy comes in, having a fine race so far, not too much trouble from him during the course of tonight. And Papizzle, I should say, I can get the words out of my mouth. They're in the pits now. And David, who's the highest driver in the field, has already made a pit stop. Ams is right behind. Hutchison and Rapidoc also there. And Frank has lost out to Rapidoc and Hutchison. So that pit stop there for Frank, he lost a lot of time in the pits in comparison to when Canessa came in at the same time, and Canessa was a lot closer to him. Well, Canessa's ended up a lot closer to him than he was beforehand. So Moggs continues to lead, Laura's in second place, and Robinson continuing to drop back now from the top two. Over 8 seconds behind Law, and over 10 seconds behind the leader. "19 laps done so far, as Law comes in from second. An important pit stop in the race. Is he going to get out in front of Davids Jr. and Ams? Those are the drivers that he is fighting with, so he needs to make this pit stop work. So Moggs continuing to lead. There is a back marker behind him. I'm just trying to recognise who that is. It's the number 25 of Farcliffe Papisel. He's just made his pit stop. Mackenzie comes in from 10th place. He's not had a good race so far, to be honest with you, tonight, as Mackenzie. He had that spin earlier at turn 11, which cost him places. And Law has done his stop now. Davis Jr. is coming round, as well as Adams, but I think Law is going to keep hold of the position. So Law rejoins ahead of the McLaren and the Audi, but he'll need to get his tyres warming up before they catch up to him. Now Law, who ended qualifying in P3, 2/10 off the pace, has shown some real pace in this one, as Moggs, the race leader, pits in. So that should allow... I think Robinson's had a mistake somewhere. He has. The bonnet is damaged on that BMW. So Robinson, who ended qualifying fastest and lost the lead at the start, has had a coming together with someone or with the wall. So I'd imagine that'll be him off into the pit lane at the end of the start. But given that a lot of the others have pitted already, he could well fall out of the top 10. Gallagher and Ray pits in at the same time as well, and Ray nearly running into the back there of the Audi as he comes in. So this is a pivotal point in the race now. Law is coming up to turn 10 and 11. Davids Jr. with the fastest up of the race so far. He's closing in. So we've not got too many drivers needing to pit. So Moggs has just done his stop now, as Law is coming round, and Moggs is going to keep hold of the lead here. There's no question. Yeah, he should do. So Moggs exits the pits in the net race lead, but there is still MGK, Morix, Blue Flag and Robinson still needing to stop. And there's El Prentice coming in for his pit stop also. As we see Ray get out in front of Gallagher. So Ray's got the jump on Gallagher in the pits. So Gallagher down a position as Law is ahead of him now. Davis Jr., Ams and Hutchinson are also got past him. Rapiduck and Franco toe-to-toe, I think. Or is that I think that may be Rapiduck trying to put a lap actually on a back marker. Frank is in 14th place and he's dropping back quite a bit now from those lot. So with that being said, I'm just looking to see who's lost out in all that in the pit stops. Robinson's still not pitted yet, so that's an interesting. It's interesting he hasn't come in, because I'm sure he'll have lost some performance. As MGK pits in from the lead now, as is Morex, which should allow Blue Flag to take over the lead. Now a drive-through penalty has been dished out, and this is a turning point in the race. Law, who would go into second place, has exceeded track limits on too many occasions. So a drive-through penalty has been given to the Mercedes AMG driver. Well, that's going to drop him out of the top 10 for sure. Disaster for the man who started third on the grid. So Blue Flag is in the temporary race lead, with Robinson in second. So Moggs and Ams will go ahead of Law, who's not pitted in for that drive-through yet. Rapid Duck has done very well to get himself back into 11th place, which will become possibly 7th or 8th once the pit stops are done. As we watch MGK come out with a pit speed makes contact! That is him going round! Now he made contact there and came out into the path of what looked like Hutchinson into the first turn, and MGK has gone for a spin. He gets going again, but he's lost places. So Moritz has completed his stop now. He exits the pits, but well, he exits his box. He should go in front of the number 25 of Andy. So there's Blue Flag. I wonder if Blue Flag's not going to be refueling in this race. He may well just do a tyre change, but he drops it though. He's spun at the last turn, and the car behind, who's a lap down on him, has avoided him, and Blue Flag just needs to be very careful here because he's in a very dangerous position on the racetrack as Robinson comes in for his one and only pit stop. Blue Flag decides to pit in now as well, so Moggs will go back into the lead of the race. Law will pit in next time around to get that drive-through done. So once all the pit stops are done, Moggs will be in the lead, Ams will be second, Davis Jr. third, with Ray Thomas up to 4th place. Then it's Hutchison ahead of Rapid Duck in 5th and 6th. Rapid Duck continuing his fight back through the field. As we see a bit of a glitch there with the lobby. My apologies for that. I'll tell you what, one driver that will favour is Kema Barbo, who's done a terrific job. He's hardly been involved in any mayhem throughout this one, and he could well find himself possibly in 9th place by the end of this race. But Robinson, I have to say, what a disaster it has been for him in this one. So all the drivers have done their mandatory pit stops now. It's just Law who needs to take his drive-through, and that's it. So Robinson exits the pits now. Where's he rejoin? Oh, he's well down the order, actually, thinking of it. Is that Will Freeman who's ahead of him? It is Will Freeman. So Will Freeman, who's been involved in that first lap mayhem, is ahead of Robinson. As we see Mackenzie make contact there, that's the 911 of Rui. Oh, Rui will be absolutely livid with him for that. That was really clumsy there from Kevin. Went for a move, went for a gap that wasn't quite there, and he's tipped Rui round. Both have lost places, but Rui has lost out more in all of that through no fault of his own. So I'd imagine that Kevin will have the book thrown at him for that. So Law comes in to get his drive-through done now in the Mercedes AMG, which will move Davis Jr. up to 2nd place. Ray Thomas moving up to 3rd now, with Hutchison in 4th. Rapid Dog into 5th place. Head of Gallagher in 6th. MGK will be 7th. Head of Frank, who's up to 8th. Kama Barbo, who's on the threat from Canessa. So Canessa will move into the top 10. Frank with the fastest lap of the race now. He's beginning to show the pace that he was displaying earlier. So the race beginning to settle down now. I just wonder where this has put Law back out. He's ahead of Canessa for a moment, but he's going to be losing the position, I would have thought, to the BMWs up the inside, and the BMW has surely got the place from him now, has he? He has done, just. So Canessa passes Law and goes up into 10th place. And there's Will Freeman battling with Dim Adjuster. So the two go toe-to-toe, and Robinson, who's in 18th place now. So the pole sitter in 18th place as Blue Flag, after that mistake at the last turn, is in 19th. And I think Kevin has allowed Rui to go through because of their mishaps earlier. So well done to Kevin for doing that. Great sportsmanship. I think that was the best he could have done. I think we've lost a couple more drivers from this race. I don't know who they are because we've got so many drivers in the lobby. I can't keep up with who's left the lobby altogether. But we'll find out at the end of the race anyway, and see if they left the race altogether or whether they're going to be coming back. I can't imagine they'll be given the points for the positions of 27, 28 and 29, but that's totally at the steward's discretion or the game's discretion, because as far as I know, the game is reliant on the results of giving out the points rather than the FRL itself, but the stewards may decide to intervene should there be some form of inaccuracy involved thanks to the game. So your race leader, Moggs, 10 seconds in front of Davis Jr., with Ray in a fine third place. He's done very well in this one. And Rapid Dog has got in front of Hutchison now into fourth position. So Rapid Dog absolutely on fire, living up to his name perhaps. And I think Gallagher has gone for a spin. Oh, that's a terrible shame for Gallagher. He had a brilliant race up until this point, and it looks like he's had a spin into the barrier somewhere. Where was he before he had that spin? He was in sixth behind Rapid Duck. So he's going to be surely into the pits at the end of the side. He needs to be careful with track limits, obviously, though, because you don't want to be cutting corners on the way into the pit lane. So Gallagher will be in the pits at the end of the lap. He should continue, to be honest with you, because we've got just under 15 minutes to go. And he's got an opportunity to get some points. He could well fall down to as low as 25th position, because Jay Prentice is down a few laps now on the leader, and if you finish in 25th you would get 6 championship points, which is better than nothing. Now we're seeing a move from NGK on the inside there of Hutchison. Hutchison closing the door last minute, left the Ferrari enough space, but MGK may decide to get a switchback on the outside into turn 2. But Hudson holds his line and keeps hold of the place. The driver with the fastest lap of the race now has gone to Morex as Gallagher comes in to get the repairs done. And you see the Ferrari trying to make a move. Does he go for it on the inside? He had a look, but doesn't quite go for it there. And Frank is up to 7th place now. I'd be interested to know who your driver of the day is. I could well give my driver of the day throughout this one. I thought, I'm looking to see where Moggs ended up in qualifying actually. I'd be interested to have a look. Moggs ended up, where was he in qualifying? He ended up 4th on the grid. But looking at where Frank started 25th on the grid, and he's up into 7th place. And who knows, he could get up even higher in the closing stages. And drive-through penalty's been dished out to Clate this time. He's running in 19th, and it's for track limits. So he'll be taking his drive-through within the next 3 laps. And Vivka, who's had a nightmare of a race, so I think he's ahead of Gallagher now into 24th place. Yeah, he is. So Gallagher will rejoin a lap down in 25th. At least that'll move Robinson up a place as well as Freeman. Freeman up to 16th, Robinson now 17th. And Davis has got back the fast lap of the race. He's closing in on Moggs. I think the gap was less than 9 seconds at the end of the last lap. What's the gap now into sector 1? It's 8.6. So Davis Jr. continuing to make up ground on the leader. I think he's going to run out of time to catch him, but he'll give it a good try. And MGK's ahead of Hutchison now. So MGK up to 5th place ahead of the BMW as Clate comes in to get his drive-through penalty done and out of the way. Now, in order for a driver to be awarded points or classified as a finisher, they would need to complete at least 75% of the race distance. If they have connection issues, though, via the steward's discretion, they could still be awarded the points, even if they end up completing less than 70. Oh dear. Breaking news. Frank has just been awarded a drive-through penalty for track limits, and all that hard work, he would have been a contender for driver of the day, but I think that's going to go out of the window because the fact he's been given a drive-through for track limits is going to cost him for about 4 or 5 positions at least. He'll carry on for now to try and bridge out a gap over the others behind, but this is not what he needed. I think the fact that we're so far into the race now, we're starting to see drivers pick up more and more warnings for track limits, and as the race progresses, we're starting to see a few more drivers being given drive-throughs for track limits, and Frank is the 3rd recipient of that. So going back to what I was saying about the points thing, if a driver's had a disconnection and doesn't complete 75% of the race distance, they could still be awarded points, but if they start sort of retiring in the pit, or staying in the pits for a lot of the race without disconnection, then I doubt that they're going to be awarded the points. And Gallagher is back in the pits now in the Audi, and I think this could well be the end of his race, to be honest with you. So we watch Freeman and Robinson go toe-to-toe. This is for 16th place now. Now the Tier 2 champion up against the runner-up in the PS4 category last season. They both go toe-to-toe, which is good to see. Dim Adjuster is in 15th place. So the gap at the front now has come down to 7.9. So Davis Jr. is continuing to narrow down the margin over Moggs. I think Moggs may well just be taking it easier on the at the front than he was doing so earlier. He's not got any back markers ahead of him to worry about. The next back marker ahead of him is the 212, which is Vodka, who is back on the lead lap now, I believe, so he could well make up another position or two before the checkered flag. The next man ahead of him is the 500 of Clates, who's just taken that drive-through penalty. The next man after him is P. David. So Frank comes in to get his drive-through done, so that will promote Canessa up to 7th, Kama Barbero up to 8th, Busy up to 9th, Lob up to 10th, El Prentice up to 11th, Morix will go up to 12th place as well. And Pospisil should go up a position also. Yes, he will. So he goes through, no problem. And Dim Adjuster, I think, is just going to miss out, to be honest with you. So Frank has got his drive-through done. And gets out in front of the Audi. So Frank down from 7th to 14th with that drive-through. So Moggs is coming around to complete the 29th lap. In terms of number of laps remaining, I would say he's got 7 more laps to do. So I was right on 36 laps. At least I'm going to be anyway. So Frank is ahead of Freeman now, who has just got past Dim Adjuster, who overshot the chicane. So we need to be careful from here on in, really, with track limits. Robinson will be looking to make a move through the field. I think with Frank's drive-through, he should start to show some pace, but he's just exceeding track limits a little bit too much there, and some of the other drivers have been also. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we get another 1 or 2 more drive-through penalties being dished out to drivers for track limits, because we've seen it there. There's Moggs running wide also at turn 4, so he needs to watch his braking point. There's Rapid Duck closing in on Ray in the fight for the final podium spot. I wouldn't have thought Rapid Duck would have come back from this, come back to here after his first lap contact with the likes of Will Freeman and Mackenzie, I think, may have been in there as well. But either way, he's done a superb job to get out there in 4th place. And Ams, who I think is one of the drivers who left the server earlier, actually. That's a huge, huge shame. And with that, he is not going to be scoring points. I think Ben Gallagher has left the server now as well, so there may be some inquiries later about drivers rage quitting because they should be staying in the lobby. Because the thing is, if they leave the server, it can upset how the server is being run, to be honest with you. I'm not an expert when it comes to the technicalities of this, but they may well be asked about why they've been leaving the server to begin with. The gap at the front is 7.7 seconds now between Moggs in the lead and Davis Jr. in second. Rapid Ducks only 2.7 behind Ray Thomas in 3rd and 4th positions. And another drive-through penalty has been dished out, so I was right, there was going to be another one. It's Dim Adjuster in the 434 Audi. So he's got a drive-through penalty to take, which we'll see blue flag go through in a moment. He's taking that drive-through penalty now, which he has to. He's going to lose about... Oh, he's going to lose about 4 positions, maybe 5, thanks to this. So Davis Jr.'s hold of the fastest lap. When did he do that fastest lap? I'd be interested to know when he did that one. So he did that on his 26th lap. So it was a few laps ago when he had set that. But he's definitely... And now we've got a 30-second stop-and-go penalty for speed in the pit lane to Dim Adjuster now. So this is hard luck on him. And he's got to take it at the end of this lap. Failure to do so will result in a disqualification. This is going to drop him even further down the order. So Moggs' gap over Davis Jr. is 7.2 seconds at the end of the last lap. We've got three laps to go. I think I miscalculated on the number of laps we've got left, to be honest with you. So it'll be a 34 lap race, not a 36 one. So from what I've been told, the drivers who had left the drivers who are no longer in the race, they didn't leave the server, the game crashed on them. So thank you for clearing that up for me. So they could well be awarded the points later on, but they need to sort of show proof that the game did crash on them whilst they've been playing. So the fight for 4th place is on at the moment between Rapid Duck and MGK. So this is going to go right all the way to the checkered flag. Now, will Dim Adjuster come in to get that stop-and-go penalty done? He has to, because otherwise there'll be black flags if he doesn't do that. Yeah, he's coming in to get that stop-and-go penalty done. Yeah, so Kobe came in just saying that he's one of the drivers who was in there, that the game crashed on them. So my apologies for anything that I said there that may have been incorrect. But it is from what I can see anyway. But thanks for telling me otherwise, because little I would have known. Now we can see Rapid Fire MGK going toe-to-toe here. This is the penultimate lap of the race now. Lap 33. And MGK looking to make a move on the outside into turn 1. He may have the high ground on the exit. He'll try and do a switchback on the BMW, but Rapid Duck holds his ground. MGK will be back for more though, as he looks to the outside into turn 2. And he can't quite go through that. And so Rapid Fire lives to fight another day. We've got the 6, 7, 8 off circuit. I'm not sure what's happened there. But Jay Prentice is off the track and I think his race is done. So I think Dim Adjuster's stop and go hasn't gone yet. Which is interesting. Has he picked up another one? Not sure what's happened on that one, but he needs to be just needs to be careful when he comes into the pits. If it's for speeding in the pit lane again, then perhaps he needs to work on his pit entries. So the pit window is closed, so all the drivers on circuit have done their mandatory stops anyway. But Moggs is on his final lap now in the Ferrari, on course for a well-deserved victory. And Davis Jr. on course finished second, and Ray Thomas as well in the Mercedes AMG on course for a brilliant podium. Rapidot in 4th place after being at the back earlier. Looks as though his position in 4th is looking a little bit more tenuous in the closing laps, but MGK has dropped back a little bit. I think MGK looks to be content with 5th place, which isn't too bad of a result at this stage of the season. As Rapidot looks to defend the position, MGK looking to the outside. Does MGK go through? He may have the high ground on the S8 side by side into turn 3. They both go side by side. Rapidot off the track and just keeps hold of the place. It looks as though MGK was going to pull off a spectacular overtake. Rapidot all over the place at the moment. MGK made contact with him. He's come together with the BMW and Rapidot has spun round. Oh, that's a terrible shame. It looks like a good battle up until that point. But Rapidot is through. But I think MGK may have the book thrown him in, and Hutchinson has got past. MGK now into 5th. Now what will the stewards say on that? We'll go back to the leader because Moggs is about to complete his final lap. Moggs in the Ferrari wins in the Taco Tuesday series in Tier 1 in the FRL ACC here in Hungary. Very well done to him. A very, very well-deserved victory. Davis Jr. comes over the line in 2nd place. And on the podium is the Mercedes AMG of Ray Thomas. Very, very well done to him also. Superkart Ray does a fantastic job. I want to go back to the battle here because MGK is running in 4th position. But will he keep hold of that place after that contact with Rapidot? For the time being at least, MGK is 4th. Hutchinson in a fine 5th place. Rapidot 6th. Canessa 7th. And there's been a spin there from Busy and Law as Law has crossed over line in 8th. Busy to the drop down a few positions also. Camabarbo is 9th. El Prentice is in 10th and Morris 11th. So Busy from 8th has dropped down to 12th place. Varklov should hold off Will Freeman. So Varklov in a respectable 13th position. Will Freeman will be 14th over Lewis Robinson in 15th place after being on pole earlier on. And Frank, who would have been one of the drivers of the day before he had that drive through, is in 16th place. Blue Flag 7th, had a Mackenzie in 8th. It's Rui holding off Jones for 19th place. P. David will hold off Clay for 21st position. Fuvka already crossed the line in 23rd. Dim Adjuster will be 24th with Jay Prentice, who'd been in the pits towards the end of the race. He should keep hold of the position for 6 championship points anyway. And those are your finishes. But there's your race winner. It's Moggs for Ferrari here at the Hungaroring. Very, very well done to him. Davis Jr. is in 2nd place ahead of Ray in 3rd, and it's MGK ahead of Hutchinson. Rapidot is in 6th place ahead of Canessa with Law in 8th. Camabarbo in 9th place with Prentice in 10th. El Prentice, that is. Morix is in 11th ahead of Busy, and Varklov ahead of Freeman and Robinson. Frank is in 16th place ahead of Blue Flag and Mackenzie in a disappointing 18th place. Rui 19th and Jones in 20th place. In 21st was P. David ahead of Clay and Vodka. Dim Adjuster was 24th and a lap down. Jay Prentice should keep all of the points for 5th place. Not sure about Ben Gallagher because he was a long way behind. Now, 75% of 34 would be, what's that? That'll be 25 and a half, so 26 laps. He may just miss out on it, to be honest with you. Andy will not be scoring points today. Neither will Ams, I doubt. They may well do because he had disconnections earlier. And Fighter, well, he was the one who left earlier. He left. One of the drivers I thought was going to be going for the victory today ended up not scoring. So that's him not scoring today. So he's leaving himself a lot of work to do for the rest of the season. So after just one round, well, it's as you can see it. It's Moggs who leads the way with Davis Jr. 2 points behind him on 38 points, with Ray in third on 36. And in the teams championship, looking to see who did the best out of those, I'd have thought with Moggs winning and Blue Flag finishing in... Where did Blue Flag finish? He finished in 17th place. So Blue Flag should get 14 championship points. Moggs got 40. So that's 54 championship points for them. Davids Jr., who finished in 2nd place today. His team... Where is his team? Just looking to see where his name is on here. I think he may be one of the reserve drivers for tonight. Just looking to see on the site at the moment. Can't see him on there. Supercar Ray. I'm sure he's on there. Yeah, so he's on there with Law, who finished in 8th. So Ray, who finished 3rd, and Law, who finished 8th. So Ray gets 36 championship points, with Law picking up 26, I believe, which puts them onto 62 points. And I'm going to say it for now that team, ProMotion Motorsport, are the leaders after round 1 of the championship. The next round of the championship will be at Suzuka in a week's time, same time next week, 8:15 p.m. Well, the start of qualifying will be around 8:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, but we'll start the broadcast 15 minutes earlier in case you want to see the last moments of practice. And all that leaves for me to say is thank you very much for joining us, and do make sure you like and subscribe. If you want to know any more about the FRL in terms of how you can get involved, have a look at the YouTube description of all the championships, and have a look at the FRL website and the Discord and the Facebook page, and also make sure you follow them on Instagram. FRL Racehub is the Instagram account for that. And all I can say is we'll do it over again next week. So thank you very much for watching us. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns.